Aloha, everyone. This is podcast number 59. I'm calling this Am I Ready? Now, this is Am I Ready for a New Beginning? So, this could be a sort of self checklist if this is about being in a relationship or deepening a relationship or considering a new job or moving to a totally different location. I figured we are in January 2021, and it is the actual today is the new moon in Capricorn for any of you astrology lovers out there. So that means we are sun and moon in Capricorn. Capricorn is about foundation and structure, and it's the builder. So we are looking at or contemplating what can we build on this month? What deserves our attention to make stronger, to make solid as our foundation? So, first, let's talk about relationships, my favorite topic. I've had several clients coming to me about relationships since the end of December. Well, primarily most of my counseling is relationship counseling, but recently in this new year, these have been the topics. So one of my clients, who I adore, and I adore all of my clients, was saying that she met someone new and that she wanted to do a self-checking to see if this is worth pursuing because there was a stronger feeling than she has noticed for several years. So there was something inside of her knowing this could be significant, yet at the same time with her full life and her responsibilities, she wanted to evaluate before the heart gets too involved, where the mind can say, is this the best path for me right now? Is this a wise choice? Is there enough here to feed me, for us to feed each other in a sense? It's always about getting each other's needs met. And she has small children, so there's many factors in there. So I'm going to share a little bit of that and some of my other insights with you, and hopefully it will help you in making decisions. So you all know I love journaling, and one of the exercises I recommend is to think of significant past relationships you had and to write down each one of them, one at a time, and ask yourself what needs were not met by that relationship. So most people, when they talk about their exes or their pasts, they'll go on and on to big stories about, this happened or that happened. And I'm certain all of that is true, yet there's no healing or power that can be achieved until you refine it to see why didn't it work for you? What needs of yours weren't met? Even if the relationship wasn't your choice to end it, even if they ended it. Some people say to me they feel blindsided. This came out of nowhere. The behavior changed out of nowhere. And always, I will tell you, there is something within your belief system or behavior or energy that has changed, that created that change with that other person. So nothing is out of the blue. Sometimes we get complacent or we get comfortable or we stop showing up or spending the attention, or we're having too high of expectations or too much of something going on. So to check in from your past relationships and see what need was not being met. And when you can determine what that is, that behavior, and identify that, then this gives your path to power through your self-reflection. This gives you more personal power. So once you find out, like, okay, first marriage, this was the need or needs that weren't met, then next to that, I want you, after you've determined those things, is to write that what have you been doing differently since that relationship has ended so that you get your needs met. So if you don't have an answer to this, then you need to find an answer to that. Because people that go from relationship to relationship, regardless if it was a week in between or 8 years in between or 15 years in between, if they don't know that answer of what need wasn't met and what I've done to change it. Now, it is our personal responsibility to get our own needs met. First off, to identify them, then to get our own needs met. And when it comes to intimate relationships in our life, as I've said, to learn to communicate this in a clear and concise way that the person in our life can hear that. And then at that point, you make an agreement. Relationships are like a contract. It's like a business contract, but it's even more important. It's intentional, where both parties make an agreement about, okay, this is my needs. This is what hasn't worked in the past. So this is very important to me. And the other person is sharing what's important to them. And you're coming to this table of agreement to really hear what your partner is saying, and not with and I'm enamored and I just want to go forward and this feels so good and they're so cute and oh, this is so much fun. None of that, but in a really mature, conscious way to see, are you able to offer them what they need? Or is it opposed to your views? Is it not at all your nature? Are you going to try your best? Can you be honest and say, I don't tend to do that, or I haven't done that in the past, but I'm willing to learn? And at that point, again, I am a life coach, I am a counselor. I'm going to constantly say, if something is new and foreign to you or your partner, it will not work without guidance, without coaching, without serious work, doing your work, having a professional help you with these things. So let's get back to this. So again, identifying what the need was, identifying what you have done since the relationship ended, how you've gotten that need met. And if you haven't, then it's basically like a dry drunk, right? It's the same thing where you're just continuing day to day and you're feeling hollow and you're feeling empty and you're feeling unfulfilled and you're not so happy and you're feeling older and life is passing you by and so many things are going on. So again, identify your needs, learn how to get them met. And then you'll begin to draw on the right people that can do that. So after we have this dialogue and this agreement with this person, then we will know, again, is there any personal work that needs to be done or that the partner needs to do or you do together? And then you agree to that. If you have a partner saying, wait, this is the same thing that happened in my last relationship and they wanted counseling and I wasn't going to do it. And if they're still in that space, I'd say cut your losses now, because no one can change without guidance and someone showing them the new format, the new, this is how we show up, this is how we live. And we need guidance. We need our mentors. Okay, when you are single, that is the time to do your review and reflection. Now, if you're in a relationship and you're coming up with personal things happening, you can say to your partner, I'm finding that I keep getting the same response in all these different scenarios in my life right now, and I know that I'm the common denominator, so I need patience, and if you could give me a little more space and time, I want to do some work with this. I'm probably going to do some counseling. And hopefully they're patient enough and grateful that you are doing this work because it will be beneficial to both of you. So when you see this pattern showing up and it starts to exhibit itself in your current relationship, in your current partnership, then you need to see what changes need to happen so that you can get a different result or a different outcome. If you're finding, wait, this relationship that just began or that's been here for a little bit has been great, but I'm noticing the same patterns as my ex is coming up, then you need to look to see what can you change. Life is cause and effect. All behavior is within our power to mindfully and clearly change our message. And then this message that we're sending out to the great world of relationship, we will attract different people depending on how we are acting, how our behavior and our belief systems are. So if we can start showing up authentically, then we will draw in relationships that meet our needs because they don't have to look through this disguise. They don't have to be manipulated or deceived because, wait a minute, that's not at all who I met when we first started dating. Like we became a different persona. We became the belief of who we thought we should be in order to be liked or loved instead of who we really are, warts and all. We want to be able to show our golds and our shadows all the time. So I want to give you a couple of polarized scenarios that I work with a lot with clients. And you could see if any of this rings true to you for yourself or someone you know. Anyways, so in your behavior style, are you always a hot mess? Are you always disorganized? Are you not being responsible? Are you the victim? That your belief is shit always happens to me and I'm just at the mercy of life. I'm not in control of my destiny. I can guarantee if that is your primary view, that the relationship fishing pole that you are throwing out into that abyss is going to catch you a dominating control freak, because that is the energy that meets with, I don't need to do it, so someone else is going to come in and do all of it. I want you to see how this is alchemy. Now, on the other extreme, let's say, for instance, you do everything for yourself. You're extremely competent and together. You don't need anyone's help, mostly because you don't trust them. And you are often exhausted, feeling alone and feeling taken advantage of by the end of the play, by the end of whatever happened in that relationship. Well, your relationship fishing pole may very well catch you a person that initially looks happy-go-lucky. They look very fun. They might light up your life, bring a little joy in there that you haven't, a little fun that you haven't seen for a while. And I guarantee when that honeymoon stage settles, you're going to look at this person and find that you have someone that doesn't show up, that you have a person that may not be of their word or all the time. Perhaps they could be a little lazy. Perhaps they can have entitlement or expectations that someone's supposed to take care of them. Does that sound familiar? Now, the first scenario, my advice would be to stop waiting for the hero or heroine of your life to show up and make it better. You write out a long-term and a short-term plan about how you want your life to be and make it happen on your own, not with someone coming in like the end of a Hallmark movie and being the perfect person to make it happen. That doesn't exist. You have to do this. Also, you need to learn to ask for help from mentors, from healthy authorities, from counselors, from people you can trust that will build you up and help you cultivate your skills, or to see the skills that you don't yet see you have and therefore build your self-confidence. Not make you dependent on them, where they believe this is how your life should look. So right away it feels like, oh, everything financially will be taken care of. I have daddy, I have mommy, I have, on a subconscious level, inside you're like, oh, they're my hero. They're going to make it better. I could have the home I want, the car I want, I can work or I don't have to work, and everything is happily ever after. It is not happily ever after, because after that initial honeymoon wears off, you will see that you are not getting your needs met, all of your needs met, not just your security and your fears, but all of your needs. There are many parts of ourselves, and I'll get into that in a little bit. Now, talking about the second scenario, my advice and remedy would be to learn boundaries. And often ask yourself in the moment, is this my responsibility? Because you got to remember, this type of person, every time, if they're out in public or in family or with friendship or anything that has anything to do with them, they instantly feel like they have to move in and begin taking the lead and taking responsibility, because that's their nature. But how about if you stop and in that moment, you ask, is this my responsibility? That's important. So for instance, is it my responsibility to clean up this mess? Is it my responsibility to replace the toilet roll in this public bathroom I just went to? Is it my responsibility to bail someone out again? Or am I supposed to do all of the cooking, planning, paying for, and everything for my next dinner party again? Is this how I socialize? I'm a one-man, one-woman show? Now, if these sound like your patterns, what would it feel like to check in with yourself, to be there, to show up for yourself, and to see, what am I feeling today? Give me a couple feeling words right now when I think about doing this gathering. Not talking about COVID. Let's just say it's the real world again. Let's just say we're doing this gathering. And how does it feel? Well, I have a lot of juice today and I feel totally inspired and generous, and I want to go to the store and I want to cook all this stuff, and I can't wait to have all these people over. And that's authentic. And that's a possibility. And another thing may be, I've been working so much lately and I'm a little strapped this month because some bills came up I wasn't expecting. And I really wanted this dinner party, and everybody's used to me paying for everything. Everybody's used to me doing all the cooking. I guess I have to do it that way. And I'm going to grumble some. I'm going to do some grumbling. Instead of seeing, okay, I noticed that. I actually checked in for a moment. And what if I call these people or text these people and say, I know we have plans to get together and I'm a little tired. Would you be willing to bring a side dish? Or would you be willing to come early and help set up the table? Or could you pick up a chicken from Costco? Anything like that. I decided I'm not going to cook. Instead, I have pizza. Or I have we're going to do pizza and salad. Like, make it simple. Or I'm doing pasta, gluten-free pasta, who knows? But come up with scenarios that meet your energy so that when you are connecting with these people, instead of being overly responsible and feeling like that is your position in life, that you're supposed to do all of it, you are going to feel better. You have more energy to say, I feel met. I feel like everybody participated. This isn't just all on me. This feels so much better. So checking in with your energy. What is it like today? Does it feel like your cup runneth over? Are you giving of your generosity, of your excess, of what is in excess, not of your deficiency? Not, I'm so tired and exhausted, not giving of my bone marrow. So, another aspect of this, if you tend to be automatically generous, automatically showing up, automatically taking charge with people around you that are lesser, that are in need. Now, in these times, there's so many people in need. There's so many people in need. And how it's very clear to me is if I'm going to give money, time, energy, counseling, whatever I'm going to do, I am going to check in with myself and see where my energy's at naturally. And if there is excess and I really see this person's in need, and I have no other encounters with them to show that they would be anything but grateful for this help, then I will do it. But let's say it's this way. Again, my nature is to always show up. And this person has several times not fulfilled their part of something that we had an agreement on, regardless if it's through work or through friendship or through meeting or constantly canceled plans or didn't pick up the chicken from Costco because, I forgot, or I just needed to borrow $20, I'll pay you next week, and we never heard about it. Like those sorts of things. If that's the kind of person that, again, is in need, and you check in with yourself, I would see, is this really where I want to put my generosity? Because if we are all in charge of our life and we're here to make the planet better, I have always looked, having my businesses in Maui and being responsible for so many people for so many years, it became second nature. That it was very easy if I had to fire someone or let someone go or tell a client this isn't working out for us because it's not appropriate behavior with my therapist or whatever it is I was doing. I learned that I always looked at what is the best for the whole of everybody involved instead of just one person. So it didn't pull it out of balance. And it wasn't all this energy going to one person that continues to say, I'm so sorry I screwed up again. I'm so sorry I screwed up again. I would say there are people out there in such a challenging way that they could barely get up. They probably would so benefit and shine for one little speck of generosity from someone, and they would soar. That's all they needed, was one speck of attention that said, I believe in you. Now, there are people out there, because I have helped many, many people in life on one level or another, and they have shown and they have accelerated because they just needed that support in that moment. I don't have many stories of people that I kept giving to and giving to and giving to, and then they just keep owing me so much, and they never show up, and they always have an excuse why this can't happen again. I don't have time for that because there are too many people that deserve that really deserve authentic generosity. And if I am that nature of person, I'm going to give it to those that are going to soar, that will get strong, be appreciative, and they will bless someone else. They will be generous to someone, and then this is how the world's better. So, I went off a little bit there, but it's all still the same theme here. Okay, now, are we ready? Are we ready for a new path, a new something? Right now we're looking at those opposed behaviors. Okay, so stopping. So I talk about the two extremes. I talk about these two extremes because, as I said, many of my clients come to me with degrees of these traits, and they all need to find a balance, a more moderation. So the second scenario person who does it all themselves, those people would benefit by learning to ask for help and trust others, or at least give them the opportunity to see if they'll show up, to see if they'll follow through with their agreements, if they're consistent in their relating to you. And are they the person that is of value and supportive that you deserve in your life? So, just as I said before, who deserves that generosity and that time and energy of yours? Is it someone that it's mutual, that you both are fed, both your needs are met? And this isn't just in romantic partnership, this is in roommates, in family, in friends, in coworkers, in whatever the scenario is. It's on all levels to really have that checklist and keep seeing, like, am I ready? Am I ready for this? Am I ready for a new way of relating? I want more in life. I want fuller, richer relationships that mean more to me. So the only thing I have power to change is my view, my behavior, and having my boundaries of seeing on a reference point of how I know when that's the right person to allow into my little inner sanctum, because that's a place of honor. When I let someone into my little space, they have integrity. They are someone I can trust. They are good-hearted people. They're not selfing people. So I want that to be the same for you. I really want you to claim this year and make a difference for yourself. Be ready. So I've given this reference many times in teaching and in counseling before, that if we looked at a straight line, if we drew a straight line right now, and we put a dot in the middle of this line, and we imagine on one side of the behavior scale is the extreme over-responsible person who tends to be angry, bitter, alone, and tired. And on the other extreme, we have this carefree, avoiding commitments, inconsistent, irresponsible, while feeling life never goes their way. They're always a victim. Why don't I have more in life, are their questions. So those are the extremes. So if we were to look at this as a behavioral balance beam, in a sense, where are you on that? Are you far left or far right? And I'm not talking politically right now. I'm talking about these two extremes. In spiritual terms, they call it over-efforting, under-efforting. It's one of the Eightfold Path. The Buddha spoke about it. The way to joy and peace and nirvana and enlightenment and just harmony is to have right effort, not too responsible, not under-responsible. I show up for my commitments. I don't over show up for my commitments. I don't step over if someone doesn't show up for it. It's just a matter of tempering, of seeing inside what is our balance, what is our boundaries. Okay, so where are you? What are the steps you can take towards moderation to be more in the middle of that behavioral balance beam? What are steps, practical steps? Sun and Moon in Capricorn, write it down when you're done listening to this podcast. What are the steps I can take to make me more in the center of that line, where I'm not under efforting or over efforting, so I can be ready, I can be balanced. Another highly effective journaling exercise to see if you are ready for true love. Okay, I'm going to sidestep this for a minute. And I want to talk about my belief of what true love means. This is not a hallmark true love. This is my experience of true love. I've seen through counseling clients, and I've seen with myself, my own experience. True love is two people that agree to commit to a relationship that they will tend to, that they will give equal amounts of energy and effort to, and value, where both persons' core needs are met. There is clearly a you, a me, and an us with equal attention given to all aspects. You have a style of honest communication, that you can share any thoughts or feelings with your partner in a conscious, sensitive way, that you say, do you have space and time for this? Don't just lay it on them, like let them prepare if they need to. And when you speak, your partner hears you. They don't react. They don't take it personal. It doesn't destabilize you when you hear your partner or them when you speak to them. You just see it as personal information that gives you more understanding of your partner's needs or fears or shame or hidden shadow sides, right? And aren't we all human here? Aren't we all on this path of humanness, journeying with these feelings that are good and bad? And wouldn't it be heaven to feel accepted? Because I have found when I shared the deepest parts of myself that I have felt shame about, that I'm like, if you knew this, you couldn't love me. That part, when I share it in an authentic, open way, and it's heard and received, it dissolves. It's like it diffuses it. It takes the power away. And I just feel so loved. That is love. There just was a space for it to go. My partner held that clear, empty space without judgment and just acceptance, and I love that. So, there's a lot more to say about true love, and again, schedule a session with me, and I will be happy to help you determine what true love is and how to get there with your partner or with the next person you want to draw in your life. I love to do counseling with couples. How I always format that is I'll do a private Zoom with one and then a private Zoom with the other, and then the three of us will be online. And before we meet with the three of us, I will, from the two sessions, I will come up with a series of questions that will be significant, that will pull out, as you see, I'm a master of questions that will pull out bring some clarity to how it could help your relationship, and then I'll support both of you in our session together in sharing that with each other in a reflective way and in a way that can have a feeling of more shared connection and a deeper trust. So yes, so my sessions, I charge $100 an hour, or 2 sessions for $150, and that could be whenever you want that. You'll just have a credit, or if you want to get into a series of counseling, I charge $250 for 4 consecutive sessions, so that's once a week for 4 weeks. Or I do a sliding scale. I do have some clients that pay me more of that because they appreciate the value and the insight so much. And I have some clients paying less than that because they're strapped financially, yet they're in need of guidance. And their inner voice is saying, I need help. So I am there. That is my life purpose, to be there for you. So that is what I'm saying. And I hope that you find this are you ready, this inner checklist, some of these questions to help you. So I do have one more exercise. I don't want to be too long in my podcast because people lose attention span. So this particular exercise is looking at writing down all of the parts of yourself that matter. Like, this could take a while for you to really look outside of yourself objectively. Like some of mine, one would be the leader, the independent person, change the world part of me. That's a big part of me. That's the part that's speaking to you right now. Another part of me is the adventurer traveler, a backpack, and I'm gone to a foreign country by myself, and I love that, or with someone that can flow with me. Or I have the playful little girl, the playful child, or the health nut. We gotta work out, we gotta eat right, we gotta there's so many. The meditator, that's big. That meditator needs a lot of space. So I'm going to write these parts, and I want you to write your parts. And there could be many, there could be 3. Maybe you're only exhibiting certain behaviors. You're a mother right now, you're a worker bee. I don't know what else you are. But write those parts. And then I want you, next to it, to write, on a scale of 1 to 5, and 5 being the most comfortable, how comfortable are you at expressing that part of yourself? How often do you express it? How much is it shown to people in your life? And have a scale of 1 to 5 next to all those parts of you. And the last part is with this new partner or the partner in question. How does this partner receive or accept each of these parts of you? Do you feel safe in expressing them? So this could be you feeling safe with your best friend, with your parent, with a family member, and you show these parts of yourself because you don't have to be a certain way. But sometimes we get that filter of our own personal judgment or expectations. If they see this, they will not love me. So see that, and if this is something that you're rating low, that your partner could accept certain parts of yourself, like the sexual diva, right? Like some people, you shouldn't do that. You're a mother. You shouldn't have a party carefree side to you. You should always be working. You shouldn't be sleeping in the morning. You should be up and cleaning the house. So where is that? If this comes up, then you have a talk with them after you hear their parts and their ratings and how comfortable they are to share things. And you either both start seeing a counselor to learn how to express all parts of yourself so they can grow and be free, or you end the relationship. Because it's just a matter of time before the repression or that stifling of the life force, that limitation, becomes too much. And you'll walk. So humans are designed to strive for their to be their fullest potential, unless they've had trauma or wounds that have prevented them from being their full potential. If you've only gotten so far in life and you're listening to this, call me for some counseling, and I'll help you get through these childhood wounds. And I guarantee you can do it. And I will hold your hand while walking through hell, and you will see this beautiful person that has appeared and been freed and arisen. So I believe in you, and yes. So look at your behavioral balance beam. See how you could get your point of balance back into that center. Be ready for the next chapters of your life, and blessings to all of you. You can reach me through Samana, SAMANA, at SPALUNA.com is my email, or 808-283-7587. That's Central Time, Texas. Aloha and blessings. Happy New Moon.